Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Martine Brisson, and today I'm with Clesia Mendes, who is also a clarity coach. That's how we met through Jamie Smart. She's also a speaker extraordinaire, right? Lots of prizes from Toastmaster, and just a nice person. Welcome, Clesia.
Hello, Martin. Thank you so much for having me.
And I'm going to ask you the same question that I've been asking everyone so far: is all this having this understanding help you either navigate the lockdown or health issues or just stress in general?
Hmm. Thank you very much, Martin. That's a really good question. And I guess in the way that having this understanding helped me is that some people may or may not this, but I was actually sick back in March for 2 weeks. Now, I don't know for a fact if it was COVID-19 or not because we didn't have the tests available. And I remember that as I was dealing with that state of being sick, just to give you a contrast, I tend to be a healthy person in a sense that very rarely I'm sick full weeks was a big contrast for me. Every time I tell recall will be slightly different. But what I do remember while I was sick is that generally speaking, right, in general, if I had a general experience, I just knew that I was okay. And it occurred to me to take the responsible actions that I was supposed to take in a sense that I contacted whoever was relying on me to deliver services to let them know that I wouldn't be available because I was sick. I contacted my landlord if something were to happen so they knew what was going on. I knew the finances were taken care of, so the money was in a bank account, so whoever needed to get paid would get paid. So that was practical aspects that occurred to me. And I remember that one of these days while I was going through that process of my body was sick, wasn't feeling great. One day a thought occurred to me. I was like, oh, Clesia, what if this is it? This is the moment when you're gonna die, right? I never had that thought before. It was the first time, but what if this is it? And I'm getting goosebumps remembering this right now. In a moment, it occurred to me that okay, I'm in my mid 40s. I had an interesting, exciting life. Not 100% of the time, but mostly. I've met interesting people like you, Martine. Interesting, fun, loving. Um, I'm glad where I'm at. Do I still have plans for the future? Absolutely. But if I were to die now, I would be fine. I would be die, well, based on the circumstances, happy, fulfilled. Uh, my family probably would be upset, but eventually they would get over it. I know that because they've got intrinsic well-being and that bounce factor, so they would get back to it. They would be okay. I thought about my friends and they would get upset, but they would be okay. And in the moment, I was okay. And and then occurred to me something really practical. I was like, oh, I need to update my will, which I did after I became better. So I know it sounds like kind of really practical things, but in the moment, and it occurred to me at a stage that stop watching the news as well, because in the beginning I was every single day I was up to par with the government updates, so I knew what was going on. But it occurred to me that I don't need to be on it 24/7. So I guess that is what helped me, and it is not something that I realized in the moment. I was like, oh, this is what this understanding gives me. It's just I kept receiving the gifts over and over and over again. Sometimes I tell people having this understanding, and all of us have this is for every single human beings. It's just the way it works, right? But having an inkling, having a deeper understanding of how things work is the gift that keeps on giving. So that is that is what I've seen for myself, and what I'm seeing for myself right now, speaking to you today, Martin. Does it make sense, or do you want me to expand on it? Or
No, it's a bit like staying calm in the storm.
absolutely. It's almost like in that moment when I'm present to, I'm not attached to the future, what's going to happen, right? When I'm, as best I can, I'm present in the moment. I am the eye of the storm because everything else is going around me, but I'm not spinning out of control. The mind, the personal mind is not spinning out of control. Yeah. So in a way, I've got more peace of mind that for me is priceless. I
Yeah.
can't put a price on it, really.
Exactly. You cannot, yeah. But and I'm glad that you recovered and that you're all healthy now.
Oh, thank you very much, Martin. Me too. Me too. Because I've got a lot of stuff to do. And I at the same time yeah. And we're still going through the process, right? But it's just knowing where my experience is really coming from helpful. When I noticed, like everyone else, we kind of get in and out of it. But when I notice, it's really helpful to know where do I believe or where do I think my experience is really coming from. And it's not something you need to tell yourself. You just notice, and that's enough to get the ball rolling
Yeah.
and rebalance and recenter yourself. It's not something that I do, it just happens to me.
Yeah, that's beautiful because you don't have to work at it, right? I have to center myself now, or it's only thoughts, or whatever. It just come effortlessly, it seems.
Mm. Mhm. Yeah, that is a really good point because when I first came across this understanding, and for people who know me, I would call myself a kind of an action person, right? Aspect of my personality. I like to take action, make things happen, mostly because it's fun, and I like to find out what's going to pan out or not. And when I started looking to this direction, I was really curious. Okay, what do I need to do more of? And people kept telling me there was nothing to do, and I thought they were hiding a secret, but no, all of us have it. And just being curious, and thank you very much, Martin, for bringing this gift to everyone. Just being a little curious and looking this direction might be enough to spark, as I said, is the gift that keeps on giving, just might be enough to spark all the things that you require. So yeah.
Thank you very much for taking the time in your busy day. uh, and for people that know, I was a bit late because of technical issue. So thank you also for your patience, Clesia. And if people want
Oh,
to get in
yeah,
touch with you, how can they get in touch with you?
okay, there is a couple of ways. First of all, I've got a YouTube channel. So a few years ago, I did a series of interviews called Womanhood from the Inside Out, where basically I interviewed people that had come across this understanding and what has changed for them, mostly women, because it's called womanhood. So if people are curious and would like to know more, please just do a Google search on Clesia Mendes. I'll spell it for you. So it's Clemendes, Clesia Mendes, and you should be able to see my video on top and just click on that. Or if someone wants to contact me directly, the easiest way is on Facebook, really. So that would be facebook.com/Clesia Clesia.Mendes. Or if you want to Google my name, you'll find my LinkedIn profile on top. You can also find me on the professional network. Anyways, very welcome. But thank you very much for putting this together.
And she's a good speaker. So talk about it.
I am a good
Talk
speaker.
about
Thank you.
talk about the three principles. She's your girl. Thank you, Clesia.
Thank you. Bye bye.